Aishwarya, let's get started. We're so excited to have you on the show. But when did you know
Same, same.
that you were actually funny?
When did I know I was actually funny? Well, to be very honest, I was never the funny child. If you ask my mom, which I have multiple times, like, how was I as a child? And she would always be like, you were never funny. I think it was back in college that, to be honest, I was dating this guy and he was the funniest guy in class. And I think he kind of rubbed off on me. Like his humor and his comedy sort of, I kind of started like gelling and I kind of liked that. And I think that's how I became funny. I explored
So
my
can you
funny side.
become funny? Because you're saying that you actually did not grow up being the funny child.
No, I wasn't. I was the studious nerd child who didn't really have a funny bone per se. I was never the clown of the group, or I was never the funny child, funny girl. But in college, for sure, I was the one, I think because I just spent so much time with this guy and he was so funny. I think that kind of rubbed off on me and I in turn became funny too. And since then I've just I like, there are people who want to say something funny in every conversation. I think I'm that person. In inappropriate situations, in whatever the case, I will always have one funny quip or something that I need to say. So yeah,
So
I
when did
think
you
that's in
know?
college around 8.
When did you
So
know
when I
that
was
something I want to do this as a career? I mean, more from just being funny at a party or something and saying, okay, I've
yeah,
been entertaining my friends, but I really think I can make a career of this.
the career part of it just happened. It was never intentional. I never had any aspirations of becoming a stand-up comic. I never had I'd never even gone to a stand-up show, let alone want to be a part of it. You know what I mean? So the whole thing happened in a very weird way. That is, I always wanted to be a research analyst. Okay, I mean, I wanted to be a consultant, and being a research analyst was like the stepping stone. I got placed in AC Nielsen, which is one of the best market research companies. I was very very excited, and I thought this is it. My life is set. Because in school, what are you thinking कि college जाऊंगी फिर सब sort हो जाएगा. फिर college जाते फिर सोचते एक बार job मिल जाएगी ना सब sort हो जाएगा. Then I'm going to live my life. And then I joined this job, which is my dream job. And within a week, I'm like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. I'll go crazy just sitting in front of a laptop making presentations for people, which I don't even get to present. It's going to Singapore, and someone in Singapore is going to present it. So obviously, I couldn't. I needed some letter way, which is why I decided to do open mics as a hobby. It was again never a career choice. So I went for an open mic. I really enjoyed being on stage, and then Comicstan happened in the sense that I got a mail from Comicstan saying, "Hey, would you like to be a part of it? Would you like to send us an audition tape?" And I was like, "Yeah, why not? You know, what's the harm? I obviously will never quit my job to do this, but what's the harm?" And yeah, that's how I sent it, and then I've not looked back since.
So tell us a little bit about that first experience when you did your first open mic. How was that? Because how did you feel? I mean, you said, look, you've never done it before, you've never been on stage,
Yeah.
and the first time you do open mic.
Well, to be very honest, I bombed. Okay, I was horrible on my first open mic because what I did was I took things that I'd written on Facebook. Okay, like I used to keep penning funny things on Facebook. So I just like compiled all of that together and I went up on stage and I recited everything like I'm in an elocution competition. It was not stand up, it was more like, hi everyone, today I'm going to tell you some things about my life. So the first thing is, this is not how you will get a laugh because this is very elocution-y. Okay, it's not conversational. Like right now I'm talking to you, you feel like you're connected to me. Otherwise, if I were to talk, hi, yeah, so the next time I went, it wasn't like that. Nobody is going to respond to that kind of a act. So I remember 10 of my friends landed up over there. Everyone has surprised me and come over there to support me. And I was like, oh God, this is the last place I want you to support me. This is
Too much
so weird.
pressure.
And all of them are sitting in the, sorry?
I said too much pressure.
Too much pressure because it's the first time. Like, come after like my 100th time or something when I'll be perfect. But here you are sitting in the front row, 10 of them, and everyone's just like waiting कि एक मौका तो दे दे यार हंसने के लिए. Everyone's, of course, they've come to support me, but they have absolutely no opportunity to laugh because I'm that bad. But yeah, but the thing is, even though I didn't do as well, I went up on stage, and just the feeling of being on stage, you know, the adrenaline before you get up on stage is so incredible that you want to do it again. Like the feeling is unparalleled. I had one of the, I think that's when I knew that I don't know if I want to make it a career, but I definitely want to do this like at least twice a week or thrice a week.
How are you balancing now? Because doing comedy, doing your job, and you had enough time.
Well, to be honest, I think I kind of lucked out because Nielsen was a great company. My timings were 11 to 6, and these open mics would happen around 8. So I would work, and then I would directly go for my open mic. I would prepare some parts during the travel, during the journey. And yeah, I mean, I did this only for 3 months, after which Comicstan happened. So I didn't really have this whole process of
So that's
having to do
really
it for a
quick
really
because
long.
you started in
Yeah.
open mic, 3 months, Comic-Con. How did they discover you? Or did you grow
So
that
basically,
in 3 months?
no, no, no. So the thing is, Comicstan people sent out a mail to almost all stand-up comics in the country saying apply. It was not that, oh, they picked people. It was literally a mail which went on to everyone saying, please send us your audition reel. And almost everyone sent it. And then I kind of got shortlisted from there. And we had another, like, a mega audition where we had to perform and stuff. But yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. I really lucked out that I started comedy within 3 months, Comicstan happened. And yeah, I mean, otherwise it does take a long time, I won't lie, to actually get like, you know, you'll have to release your first video, it has to do well. It is a lot of work, and considering the amount of competition there is right now, it's definitely not something which you know, is the most easiest thing to do, like every other profession, I'm guessing. But yeah.
So when Comic-Con happened, now what was your reaction and what was the reaction of everybody around you? And at that
Well, to
point,
be
did you have to think, can I keep Nielsen? Was it or
Oh,
can I
yeah,
go?
yeah, yeah. It was a very tough decision because the thing is, when I started doing open mics itself, right, my parents kept telling me, Ashru, this is a hobby. Okay? This is a hobby. And I'm like, yeah, relax. Of course it's an hobby. Are you mad? I will never quit my job for this. Are you crazy? And my parents would keep reiterating it, you know, ki it's a hobby. What is it? It's a hobby. I'm like, okay, fine, it's a hobby, don't worry. And when Comic Con finally happened, like I sent in the audition reel without telling my parents because I was like, I'm not going to get selected or anything. Why unnecessarily tell my parents and you know me? But when I did get shortlisted, now I had to, right? So I told them ki there is this audition, and don't worry about it. I'll manage. You know, on the shoot days, I'll just take like a work from home or something. So don't worry about it at all. And my parents were still very skeptical about it, but they were like, fine, it's only the audition. Okay, it's only the audition. And I was like, yeah, it's only the audition. I went, I got through the audition also. Now I'm in the top 10, and I get a call from Comicstan saying, ki, okay, tomorrow you need to come in. And oh, by the way, it's a residential thing. So you have to stay with us for 3 months. And I was like, 1 minute, 1 minute. I did sign up for this. I can't quit my job. Like, that's not possible. And they were like, no, I mean, take a sabbatical now. Just take a sabbatical. I said, yeah, but it's just been 3 months since I joined office. Which company is going to give their, you know, new employer sabbatical for 3 months? So I spoke to my boss, and my boss was like, "You're mad or what?" don't know all this comedy and all. Come on, make the next presentation. I was like, oh my god, how do I tell him this? So then what happened was I in my head I was like, if I let this opportunity go, I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life, because it's that thing, right, where you keep thinking, what if I quit my job, what if this actually turned out to be a good thing, but I never gave it a shot. So I spoke to my mom. My mom immediately was like, are you mad? No, 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 no comedy and all, Ashu. And she had three reasonings for it. One of them being like, शादी कौन करेगा?
Number
Which
one
was one.
reason of all mothers.
Yeah, like, and to be very honest, like, she was like, शादी कौन करेगा? And I was like, कर लेगा यार कोई शादी. It's not like, you know, I'm a pretty decent looking person, and maybe I make a career out of this. I'm ambitious. My mom was like, no, like, this, just completely forget about it. Then I went to my dad, and I remember my dad was watching
So
Big
what were
Boss,
the
okay, at
other
that
two
point.
reasons? So you just told us the first one, कि शादी कौन करेगा?
शादी कौन करेगा? The first one, remember, I think I made a set also about this. Now I can't recollect what the first reason was. Yeah, one of them was, what will I tell people? What are you doing? I said, like, I don't know. I'm a stand-up comic, just tell them that. But my mom was just like, I think she was just averse to the concept of stand-up being a profession. Like,
Or that
I
it
think
could be a
because she's
profession.
also, yeah, it
Or
could
that
be a like, yeah, or it could be a profession, because to be honest, nobody in our family has done this, right? Nobody has even become an actor, or nobody has taken up an unconventional career. Everyone has been a doctor, engineer, pharmacist, this, that, which is very stereotypical and very conventional, to be honest. So and it's not like I've ever shown inkling towards any of this for my parents to also be like, हाँ ये तो हमने expect ही करा था. For them also, it's like, where is this coming from? You've never shown us this side of you. So suddenly you're like, no, I want to quit my job and I want to be a stand-up comic. So I can understand where they are also coming from. I would never hold it against them for not really getting it bang on, because it's definitely a big shift for, like, if it's a big shift for me, it's definitely a big shift for them. So yeah, one of them was, what will I tell people? What are you doing? I was like, I don't know, lie. If it's that uncomfortable, probably just say that she's a big time heart surgeon or something. I don't know. But yeah, after that, I and she was like, you know what, just speak to your dad. And the way my mom said it was very like, पापा तो मना ही करेंगे, तो मुझसे बात करके क्या फायदा? And I went to my dad, and my dad was watching Big Boss at that point. Okay, and I just saw this, and I was like, how do I explain this man? Logic. Someone who's watching Big Boss, he's definitely not going to get it. So then I told him, and my dad was very, very calm. Okay, he gave it a thought, and he was like, Ashu, are you sure you want to do it? You've been doing it only for 3 months. Are you sure you're even good? Do you want to quit your career for something that you're not even sure about? Which is a very good point. I had literally done it for 3 months. I obviously was not a very good comic. But I was just like, I don't want to regret it. And then we had like a big back and forth, like my mom, dad, and I, where my dad is also trying to make me understand. I'm trying to make him understand. And finally, my dad was like, okay, you know what? Let's do chits. I was like,
Really?
what are you saying? Yeah, how can we do chits? It's my career. And he's like, we'll make chits. We'll keep it in front of God and just take it from there. And I was like, oh my God, I can't risk this. But I mean, if at this point this is the only option, then why not? So I made the chits, do it, don't do it, and just put it in front. And I was going to pick one up when my dad like held my hand, and he was like, what will you do if it says don't do Comics Done? So I said, I won't do it. What else? So then he's like, fine, then do it. And I was like, oh my God, what is this DDLJ Ja Simran Ja Jile Apni Zindagi moment, where he was just like, okay, just do it. And I obviously was very overwhelmed. My mom was not at all happy. She's like, what about me? I'm not okay with it. But I think in Indian families, if the dad has agreed, then you kind of be like, okay, ma, samajh lo na, ma, please. So yeah, that's how. And the thing is, to be very honest, I don't have any um, what do you say? Like, I don't have any responsibilities per se in terms of I have financial security. I live with my parents. I don't have to pay the rent. I don't have to look for food. I don't have to, work and earn money for me to have like a comfortable life. So I could afford to do this where I don't get salary for 3 months and still be okay with it. So a lot of credit goes to my parents for just being incredibly supportive through the entire process.
So were there any other apprehensions you had? I mean, you spoke about some that, okay, I will go to Commerce now, or you felt that, okay, I'll take this chance. If it doesn't work out, I can always come back to my career.
Oh yeah, like so my dad had told me that this we'll give it a shot for a year, and if in a year you have still not made a career, you will go back to being a analyst. You'll go back to being a you'll get a job. I said that's a fair thing, fair ask. Like by next November, if I'm not financially stable with comedy, then it's fair to go back to a profession like this. And for me, that was never a problem, to be about what if it doesn't work out. I just wanted to give it a shot, like an honest, fair shot. If that didn't have, like, if I didn't do that, I can imagine right now, like, seeing the first season of Comic Stan, I not being a part of it, and just thinking it could have been me. I could have been lived with that, you know.
Sorry, did we lose you for just a bit? I think if you could repeat that, that would be great.
Oh, okay. No, I was just saying that, I don't think I'd be able to live with the fact that, uh, if I saw the first season of Comic Sun and I was sitting in my office, it's playing on TV, and I'm not a part of it, it would just make me feel very weird. It would make me feel very awkward. So, yeah, I'm glad that I quit my job and I gave it a fair shot. Apprehension wise, I obviously was very skeptical about, am I funny enough? Is this going to last? Is this like a random thing that just happened off the chance? So these are thoughts, insecurities basically about your own talent, which I still am battling. It's not like I'm completely secure. So
So, but
yeah,
you shot up to fame so quickly. How was that?
yeah,
That's also very difficult to handle for you,
yeah. So
family, for everybody, and then, of course, for all the aunties.
yeah, well, I mean, when it came out, suddenly there were like people who were recognizing us, who were buying tickets to come watch us. It was a thing where people were genuinely like, wow, I want to see Aishwarya Mohan Raj coming and telling, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. Doing things for you which you would never think of, like making artwork for you, creating your fan page. You're just so confused as to how much love you're receiving from people. So obviously it definitely made me uh, very, like, I didn't know. I was very overwhelmed. Like, you're looking at it from a third person view. You're looking at everything and you're like, I can't believe this is happening. But yeah, like for my parents also, they were happy because they would read comments which were just like, man, love your content, love you so much. This was so funny. So of course, it gives some sense of pride to them. And well, aunties, to yaar, kya hi bole? There's a constant, are you sure? Like, my parents get these calls more than me, which is what I find annoying. That, what is your daughter doing? Why is she talking like this? Why is she doing all this? And I'm just like, why would you talk to my parents like that? This is me, this is my content, this is what I'm putting out. there's no need to involve my parents in it and make them feel bad about things, you know. So I don't like, no auntie has come up to me and said things, but they've definitely gone to my parents and been like, uh why is she doing this? You should tell her no, not to do all of this. Just
Yeah.
like
Especially the bad language, no?
that. Yes, that, to be honest, even my mom is not okay with at all. Like, even if I say shit, she gets very irritated. Ki, Ashu, how many times I've told you not to use bad language? So when my videos have, you know, unparliamentary language, my mom does not like it at all, and she's very vocal about it. She will hate on the entire video if I say even one word which is out of place.
Talk about that, because is that part of right now the comic culture, the language, the and
It's,
people
to be honest, comedy comes from the way like you talk in general. This is not like I don't add a word just because it will elicit a laugh. It's just like, this is, if I say use the F word, I mean, I use it generally. Okay, so I mean, it's not like I'm doing it only for comedy. It is a part of my language now, which is why, like, comedy is just you being honest on stage, to be very honest. You are
but is it
literally
easy
doing,
to be honest these days because people take offense at everything?
oh yeah, like,
So do you
that's
also
why
get
it
as
is.
much this offense mail, or do you that how did you say that? Why did you say that?
No, so the thing is, I'll tell you what, I recently put out my video, which was called My First Relationship,
I
and
love
which
that
fairly did.
video, by the way.
Oh, thank you
That's
so much.
yes, that was such a sweet video. Oh.
Yeah, so I put, see, that's,
Let's hang up at the
yeah, like
same time.
like, you liked it, which is great, and there are people who didn't like it, which is also completely okay. But the problem arises when, you know, you dislike a video because I'm a woman and I said, say, vagina. Okay, which is a completely normal term. Why are we so weird about saying vagina? It's a body part. Like, since when did saying vagina become such a big deal? But you know, when you get hate for that, कि ऐसे लड़की होके ऐसे शब्द बोलती हो, शर्म नहीं आती वगैरह, and I'm like, how am I supposed to explain to them that it's okay to be saying things and not, like, people get offended by anything. There are comments who have released sets on DJ, on Bullet, the bike, and people have gotten offended about that. DJs have gotten offended. Motorbike, like, people who have bullets have gotten offended. I'm like, why? How is this? The point of comedy is to, you know, pick up a topic and then just be like, oh man, how stupid is this? Because that's where comedy comes from. Like, you know, if I take a personal incident, there's some sort of a conflict and then the resolution which makes it funny. So it's just that, I mean, I don't understand how everyone can get offended. I mean, that's the thing, getting offended is like become a hobby of this nation. You just need things to get offended about.
Yes.
So you
Now,
can't help it. You just have to be okay with it.
now that comes to my next question. So are female comedians treated differently than male comedians? Because male comedians do get away with a lot of language. Or do you think it's applicable to both?
I mean, language, I think, see, that's the thing now. People, I have always understood, like, I have understood now that women are never considered to be funny. Women are pretty, women are beautiful, women are all of these adjectives, but funny is always associated with a man. So this entire gender is not considered to be funny. So when you put out a stand up, and if you are funny, it's a shock, it's a revelation. Ki, oh my god, finally a woman who's funny, finally. And that's so sad, that's so stupid that, you know, as an entire gender you have been labeled unfunny. So that is one battle that you have to, as a female comic, overcome. That when you go up on stage, you have to first establish that within 10 seconds, you need to establish that I am funny. You don't get more than that. Within 10 seconds, the audience is like, I don't care.
Fantastic.
So
Now we will take some questions from the audience. Damini, do you want have some? Damini?
She's on mute.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
Actually, I had a question and I just unmuted her. So, Achla, go ahead. You had a question?
Yes, thank you. And Aishwarya, it's a pleasure to have you. And thank you, Sipping Thoughts, another thoughtful person. So, my question is that do you think that it is important to have a backup option if someone is planning to get into a creative field? Like for us middle class people, uh, pursuing education, and like you said that everybody's a doctor, engineer, chartered accountant, and then you think to do something unconventional, and if it doesn't work or it works, so there should be a backup option or something.
Well, to be very honest, I would always recommend that. I'm one of those people who's just like, कोई रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहिए, कुछ रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहिए. तो like I said ना कि मम्मी पापा थे घर पे, मेरा घर है बॉम्बे में. That's why I could even afford to do it. अगर ये चीजें नहीं होती, मेरे पास पेरेंट्स का सपोर्ट नहीं होता, मैं बिल्कुल नहीं करती. मैं बहुत लो रिस्क इंसान हूँ. So I would definitely say complete your education, make sure you have a degree in place. I would also suggest that you get some corporate experience or get some sort of conventional job before you even consider switching to something, unless you're like 100% passionate about it and have some sort of backing, some sort of financial backing. Because otherwise, I'll be very honest, when you don't have money, right, or if you don't have the financial stability, it's very easy to give up on your dreams and then just completely give it up. But if you have some sort of security, it becomes much easier to pursue your dream and your passion. So I would definitely say keep something backup. Finish your studies. Don't give up anything. Very auntie advice, but yes.
No, that's why I asked you. Coming from a person of similar age, it matters.
Correct. I can understand.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Damini.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, so Ashwarya, we wanted to know, with the changing times with COVID right now and everyone is stuck at home. So how has the stand-up comedy scene changed, and how are all the comedians adapting to it a little bit, if you would like to tell us?
Well, stand-up comedy is no longer stand-up comedy. It's like now we're sitting and doing it on our beds, on our pillows, from our houses. So we do Zoom shows now because it's so like, for the first 2 months we didn't do anything, thinking, हाँ यार जुलाई तक सब ठीक हो जाएगा. But अब शायद इस साल तक ठीक ना हो. So everyone has just made peace with it. We're sitting at home, we're doing Zoom shows, and we're trying to connect with the audience. We're trying to do shows where we can try out material, and once everything comes back to normalcy, go and do it on stage. So yeah, that's how we have adjusted to it now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Damini.
So, coming to that, comedy, as you've seen, it's like about audience reaction and everything. It plays an important part. It must be really tough right now for you to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, like I was telling Kirti before this, we do these Zoom shows and we switch on the video for the audience members and all, but everyone's like just in their banyan. They're lying down on the bed like this and just like, हाँ ठीक है. You're just like, मैं यहाँ पे jokes सुनाने आई हूँ, मुजरा करने थोड़ी ना आई हूँ. At least sit up straight. That's my least expectation from an audience member. तुम हंसो मत, तुम ताली मत बजाओ, but at least sit up straight, यार. Like this, what is this? हाँ लाओ, हाँ खाना खा रहे हैं, जोक सुन रहे हैं, म्यूट पे रखा है खुद को तो हम सुन भी नहीं सकते कि क्या बोल रहे हो. फोन पे बात कर रहा है कोई. Like these are things which you will never see in a live show. Live show, there's decorum, which is definitely not there in Zoom shows. Everyone, किसी की फ्लश की आवाज आ रही है, किसी का मिक्सर बज रहा है, कुछ भी हो रहा है वहां पे. It's so weird. I do not like Zoom shows at all. But
and here we are on one again. Question: somebody is asking, what was your funniest anecdote that you remember?
Funniest anecdote. I just have like instances where, like right now, just before we started, I have put out a video my YouTube channel, which is called My Pregnancy Test, which is about my mom finding out my pregnancy test.
You want to make a lot of
so
mothers worried.
oh yeah, like it made my mother worried. Forget about other mothers. Like yeah, so it's definitely that I think was one of the scariest things that happened to me, but also one of the funniest. Like my mom finding the test, coming up to me and being like, "What is this?" And I'm just like, "ये आपका है? आप यूज करते हो?" My instinct was to just be like, "ये मेरा नहीं है, ये मेरा हो ही नहीं सकता, ये आप क्या
Avoid,
दिखा रहे हो, मुझे नहीं
avoid.
पता ये सारी चीजें." So yeah, it was just yeah. Then that whole process of my mom having this conversation with me about this is the first time we spoke about sex. We spoke about because otherwise it's parents don't talk about these things. It's an unsaid thing. कि शादी से पहले कोई कुछ नहीं करेगा. So now finally she had to have this conversation with me. So I think that is. Please do go check out the video. It's a funny video.
But do you think perceptions in society are changing, or are we still in the same mindset? Because when I hear you talk, I feel like I am talking 20 years ago. So, I want to hear from you. Are they changing?
I mean, everyone. I don't know if perceptions are changing per se because I didn't have something 20 years back. I don't know how things were, right? Like I was a 5-year-old back then. But like I can definitely see more people being open to change, like open to conversation. Because of social media, there's just the number of opinions there are out there and the ease with which people can get influenced is insane. So I just feel like there's more chance for you to learn, which probably wasn't there 20 years back, which helps you adapt better.
Now, I'm going to ask you two questions. What advice would you have for parents? And then what advice would you have for people that are wanting to pursue a creative career?
For parents, I would just say that you know what, you lived your life, okay? You did what you wanted to do. Uh, of course, your advice and your guidance is very, very important. But if your child is wanting to do something which is probably a little different from what you had aspired for that person, let them do it. Give it a shot. Just support them. Okay, there's no need to be like, हाँ ये लो तुम जी लो अपनी जिंदगी, हमको कुछ करना ही नहीं है, हम तो तुम्हारे पार्ट का जिंदगी का पार्ट ही नहीं है, हाँ we are nothing no for you. All this twisted emotional blackmail which happens is just it's so sad and scary. So ideally, I would just tell parents ki even though it's so difficult to let go of your child, just please do it, because otherwise it becomes very difficult for you to actually live without your parents' support. And for people who want to aspire their dreams, firstly, finish your education. Yeah, I can't keep saying, I can't keep stressing on how important that is, because my comedy also has come from education is not only intellectual, but it gives you some sort of maturity. Studies are not only कि photosynthesis कैसे होता है, mitochondria is what, वगैरह वगैरह. It is also just you having the maturity to deal with life. You can't do comedy without having self-awareness and maturity. So I would definitely say that finish your education and then pursue whatever dream you want. Like if music is your passion, go ahead, do it, give it a shot. If dance is your passion, go ahead, do it, give it your shot. But if it's not working out, and if you feel that, oh, you don't have the competency to do it, then have the self-awareness to also like be like, you know what, this is not meant for me. Let me try something else. People, like I've realized that people get so crazy about their dreams कि यही मेरा सपना है, यही मैं करूंगा, and they don't do anything. Then you're just sitting at home wasting your time, wasting other people's time. There has to be a balance.
Damini, a couple of questions are coming in, I think.
Yes, so we have a very interesting question from Seema. I'm going to unmute her. Seema, you unmute. You can ask your question?
Yeah, so hi, I wanted to ask
Hi,
you,
Seema.
you started the program by saying that this was a very male-dominated kind of an arena, and having a woman there, and especially I would say a girl coming into. Have you ever faced any kind of a resistance, or has anybody ever been rude to you on a show just because they felt that you're the other gender? And it's more
Um,
about the acceptance.
I'll tell you the first time I did a corporate show. The normal shows are fine, okay? Public shows are fine. When you do a corporate show, these are all, 40, 50-year-old males who have never seen a girl do stand up. They've never seen stand up, let alone a girl doing stand up. So I remember I was opening for another comic, and I go up on stage, and there's nobody listening to me. There's no attention. Everyone's just like, "Bar kab khulega, khana kab aayega, paneer ka starter leke aa." Nobody is paying attention to me, okay? And I think this wouldn't have happened if it were a male. If it were a guy, they would have at least listened to him. If not like laughed or anything, at least given them their attention. But I went up on stage and I tried to do my material, but the head of the company, the MD or something, started flirting with me on stage. Like he just was like I was holding a mic and he was like, the way you're holding the mic, it's turning me on. And I was so repulsed. Like, you can't even give it back to him because he's the MD of the company. Yeah? What do you even say? And I don't think a guy comic would have gotten this. The way you're holding the mic is turning me on. That was a very. I was obviously, like, my manager obviously took it up with the HR later. But these are things that, yeah, we did. We spoke to them and we made sure that we never have. We did speak to the HR about it. But yeah, these are things that you probably have to deal with as a female comic.
Yeah, so taking up on that, Aishwarya, I would, the female comedians have just started coming up in the field, and male comedians have been there for a longer time. So, what is the difference, the way they are treated and seen in the industry? And you talked about offense also, how people take offense on every word that you say. Is that common with male comedians as well, or do women get the shorter end of the stick all the time?
No, I would say that right now country is pretty intolerant when it comes to uh, stand-up comedy. So anything and everything can be offensive. Like I said, people got offended about a DJ set, about bullets, and these were done by men. So when it comes to taking offense, it's unfortunately very gender unbiased. Everyone is at the receiving end of being taken, being like some like nobody is spared from the whole shtick of getting offended.
One last
So yeah.
question I definitely want to ask you. Social media, YouTube, this checking of the likes and this, it can become quite harrowing. How do you deal with that? Because like I said, you shot to fame very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, it's become an addiction. I really need to get this sorted, to be very, very honest, because this whole thing, you put out a post and you are just so, you keep checking कितने likes आ गए, कितने likes आ गए, कितने comments आ गए, कितना क्या traction हो रहा है, what are the DMs saying, what are people saying, are they liking my work? The constant need for validation is insane. Like, if I don't put out something on social media on a regular basis, I myself start getting very anxious कि कुछ डाला ही नहीं यार कुछ डाला ही नहीं. Like right now I put out a video just before we went live, okay, and my phone has been buzzing and I'm just like, oh my god, I hope the video is doing well. I hope my people are liking it.
So I'm going to
Sorry?
ask you 2, 3 technical questions now. How long does it actually take you to create a 1 hour program? So that when you're writing for a 1 hour show, how long does it
1
actually
hour
take?
will it takes years. Yeah, it takes years for you to actually come out with a 1 hour tight set, like something that you can actually put out or sell to a Amazon or a Netflix, which is it's insane how much work goes into putting out a 1 hour special, because everything, it's like small bits, which you try out at open mics, 5 minutes ke bits which you'll try out at open mics. You'll keep working on it for 6 months, then you're like, oh, this is not working, then you start with something new. So I would say years, like 2-3 years minimum.
And even to
You
put
to
out a
actually come
video
out.
that you put out, how long does it take you to do that?
So this video, I have worked on it for close to 2 years, and I shot it last November, and I'm releasing it now. I think 1.5 years. Yeah, 1.5 years is what I worked on for these two things.
Awesome.
Like 30 minutes of content.
Wow. So people are seeing how much hard work actually goes behind it. So
yeah, I mean, there is, I think that's what now sometimes the audience also misses the whole thing of, this is not something that she's written yesterday. This is years of hard work, which is finally coming into fruition, the lights, the camera, the editing, the subtitles, everything. It's small, minor detailing which make the video what it is. So it's definitely not an overnight thing.
So I think we're getting a lot of people saying, very honest, Aishwarya. Seriously, love you, rock. Any last words before we sign off for today?
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I had
yes, that want to follow our dreams.
Well, my thing would definitely be that, give it a shot. If you think, I never thought stand-up would be my thing, I never thought it would be my career, but I would regret if I never gave it a shot. So I would definitely say, don't think anything is unrealistic. Don't think that ये तो मुझसे होगा ही नहीं यार, ये पागल है क्या, मैं तो नहीं कर सकती ये सब. Just give it your honest best shot. If it doesn't work out, yeah. But just give that one shot. That would be my advice.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on Sipping Thoughts.
Thank you so much. This was incredible. Lovely. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Damini. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining us.